Welcome to day 25, where we're going to talk about fascia. I'm very
What?
excited. Woo!
Fascia? What is that?
So, Ashley Black, if y'all ever heard of her, she wrote this little book called The Cellulite Myth. And in it, she identified 4 types of fascia. So, first, I just want to come in and be the editor and add a 5th type of fascia that she has really honed in on in the past few years. So, real quickly, the 5 types of fascia, you can read all of this in my blog, ashleyblackguru.com/blog. Let me tell you, out in the world, there's so much jargon. You will never find these 5 types of fascia, but I really hope they're going to change the medical books at some point, because this is a really good way to categorize things and understand. So number 1, there is structural fascia. Structural fascia is what we're going to talk about today, and we're going to learn that fascia runs in lines. Then we have interstructural fascia, which is kind of the cobwebbing collagen fibers that run through the structures, right? Interstructural. Then we have, I separate it out and I call it the spinal straw. So that's the layers of the meninges in the brain, and how those layers continue into the spine. They function totally different. So we put them in their own category. Then we have visceral fascia, which is the gelatinous, kind of like when you do a Thanksgiving turkey and you go like that kind of stuff. And then the last one is what people might call liquid plasma. And I added that because I just have a much higher level understanding of how the blood actually gets squeezed out through little holes in the capillary and becomes plasma. And then it is mixing with the liquid fascia before it's taken up again. So that bag of yellow that's your blood plasma, and when it's in the fascia, they mix. So that's the 5th type of fascia. It's like Pluto. we, we kicked it out. Did we get a new planet? I don't know. Anyway, so I have added Pluto to the list of what we have in terms of types of fascia. So with that said, I want to just go ahead and play a video right in the middle of our deep dive, because it's no one can explain it better than him. And it's the man, Tom Myers, who charted the long lines of fascia. He explains it like, instead of dissecting like this, he turns the knife sideways and dissects us in the way that we really are in layers. So we'll go ahead and play that now.
Hi, I'm Tom Myers. Welcome to Anatomy Trains. Anatomy Trains is a revolutionary new understanding of how the muscles connect through the fascial fabric of the body. In a way, it's similar to kinetic chains you might have heard about. It's also similar to the meridians in acupuncture, but Anatomy Trains is based wholly on Western anatomical understanding. It's a new, clear map of the direct force transmission through the fascial fabric of the body. Fascia is what used to be called sinews, the sheets and strings of connective tissue, the white gristly stuff that holds us together. It's the stuff that envelops the muscles and attaches them down onto the bones. And although the fascia permeates the whole body with a network through the organs, the brain, the lungs, and everywhere else, this Anatomy Trains map focuses on the direction of this fabric through the muscles. Force is transmitted from muscle to muscle via this fabric, and that creates the postural and movement limitations we see in our practice every day. The whole connective tissue matrix is one single net. All the divisions that you find in the books, and even the Anatomy Trains themselves that you're about to see here, they're all made with a knife from this single, indivisible whole net. Please remember that as we start looking at all these parts. The whole is real. Any division is conceptual. The fascia has a grain, just like fabric or wood, and we'll be tracing the grain of the fascia, which makes sense out of this bag of muscle tissue that we all live with. Muscle without fascia is just a hamburger. Muscle in our fascial net makes sensible movements. Unless, of course, it's too short, or too stuck, or too weak. Here's the news. Books tell us that the muscles just attach to bone, but the muscles also connect to other muscles through the fascia. Look, the rhomboids are being pulled under the scapula by the serratus anterior, as they do when you put somebody's arm behind their back. And this happens all over the body, as you'll see. It's this muscles attached to muscles idea that really leads to the new treatment strategies you'll learn in Anatomy Trains. Dissecting out these Anatomy Trains involves one simple change in approach. We turn the scalpel sideways. Instead of cutting out each muscle, we come to the attachment, we slide the scalpel sideways under the attachment and maintain the fascial connection from one muscle to the other. They've been there forever. It just took until the 21st century for us to see how muscles work as a system, the myofascial meridians. So, maintain a consistent fiber direction and maintain the fascia connection between the muscles, and voila, we have an anatomy train. You're about to benefit from seeing the connected, meaningful, functional units that surround and position the skeleton in the continual dance of life.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Mind blowing. Also, I just love to listen to Tom Meyer because his voice is so soothing. He's a sailor. It's like being a surfer, and his work is completely groundbreaking and earth-changing. And I hope he gets the credit for that one day. Okay, so let's talk about structural lines of fascia in the real world. You got a piece that goes from your toe all the way up the back of your calf, crisscrosses, goes up your back, come and attaches at your brow bone, right? Why is that important?
Yep.
It's important to know that we have these long lines of fascia. Just like a muscle, we should be exercising long lines of fascia. I know, Jared, you are a martial artist, and whether you know it or not, you're doing fascia line exercises.
For sure.
I also think that's how martial artists are abnormally strong. For one, they learn to relax the muscles and depend on the fascia, and then those movements are all about getting energy into it. So I will tell you, I used to train NFL, NBA, whatever, and I would get them like a faster pitch and a quicker time off the line and all of that. And I did it by leveraging these lines of fascia. You guys have any comments?
It goes back
You're
to
yogis.
It goes back to what we were talking about the other day. You say from the tip of our toe all the way up to our brow line. Again, we're talking about how everything is just so connected, not just fascia, but like this whole book, all these cells, all the toxins, all the deficiencies, like it's just so simple, yet at the same time, it's so complex how everything is so connected. And if one thing
I know
is
people are like, it's so connected. And I'm like, I want to be like, you have no idea. I almost feel like that's oversaid. Like
Exactly.
lifestyle changes, like those mean other things. It's
So
like
again-
literally we're all connected. Every piece of it to the
Right.
planet, to
If
the
one thing
universe.
is off a little bit, if one isn't quite vibrating right or isn't operating at optimal, then it's that domino, not just one domino like we can imagine. It's like you see those domino videos where they got these huge elaborate and all of a
Exactly.
sudden it starts to spread like crazy. Each one of those dominoes, again, we talk about death by paper cut. So if we're doing all of these things that are maybe in the moment it doesn't hurt or it doesn't really cause any damage that we can see, it's bringing awareness to all these things and all these dominoes that are moving and that are being knocked down by the choices we're making every single day.
I agree with that. And I think about all of us because we're yogis. And sometimes people are like, oh my God, that instructor, she wouldn't just let me do my thing. She's like, move your toe, move your this, move your that. Same thing in Pilates and probably same thing in martial arts, getting the stance just right. But it is because those people, whether they even know it or not, they have a higher level understanding of the body. And if you get away with cheats in the movements in these long lines of fascia, then your body learns to do it like that. And your body will always do it like that until you change that. And by the way, all these little micro discrepancies in how these fascial lines are leveraged, your body knows, and it will sense it as trauma, and it will start to change other parts of your biomechanics. And then it all becomes your biomechanics. It's huge in terms of basically any type of movement therapy, understanding that if you go into the gym and you do this, right, you're doing a single planar, single muscle movement. So it might make your bicep bigger, but it's not going to make you stronger. So,
Looking pretty, it's about the functionality of the body.
absolutely. At this point, I don't care what it looks like. I want to be able to get on and off the floor and jump, and I want my pop up on that wave to be good. And I really think that most of our viewers are there. So let's make that shift. Let's understand the structural lines of fascia, and let's seek out those multi-planar movements and being aware of our mechanics. And always, fascia blasting can turn back time. So anyway, love it. I'm glad we got to play a little bit of Tom's work, and we will see you back tomorrow.
Tomorrow, actually, I want to talk more about fascia and I want to talk about collagen. So let's talk about that tomorrow. Can we do that tomorrow? Can we do that?
Absolutely. Let's do that.
Stick around for more fascia and collagen and all sorts of goodies We'll see you tomorrow for day 26.